So good day everyone, my name is Ariadne Borja. So my topic is all about style and verbal humor from the language of humor by Walter Nash. So Walter Nash is deeply looked the language of humor at how the way we use language and writing styles helps to create funny text. So as we all know that humor is an expressive of an ability to be funny or to be amused by things that are funny. So, in this section on style and verbal humor, Nash looks closely at how funny writing works, especially how it uses allusions. So, allusions is quite hint or references to other books, stories, or shared ideas, and how important this is in things like parody, where writers copy and twist other works to be funny. So, verbal humor is a type of humor that relies on the use of words, language, and how they are being arranged to create a funny effect. So, next is there are there are parts of the book that that is reading connected. So first is the intertextuality. So when we say intertextuality or symbolized as A5 is how texts relate to each other. So this one refers to how text makes references to or incorporates elements from another text, such as movies, social medias, and ads. And it can be direct like a quote or like a parody or indirect. So next is the comic use of allusion and intertextuality symbolizes as C1 and C2. So how these references can be used to make jokes. So allusion and intertextuality, this is when writers or performers make things funny by hinting at famous people, events, or other stories, and he or she assumes that we as an audience will understand what they refers to, what she will refers to. So next is the grammar and style, symbolizes as B3. So how sentence structures affects humor. So it explains that funny sentence because of how they're being written. So, for example, the word I'm so na stressed. So using the word stress in English and with the Tagalog prefix na, it makes it sound funny and relatable to us. So next is the sound symbolism. So sound symbolism or strand 4 is how the sounds of words can be funny or expensive. So words sounds funny just because of their sounds. For example, chismis. Diba ang chismis is refers to a person or kanang a person who do gossip or kanang chismosa yan na chismosa na tao. And aside from that is pwede siya we can use chismis kanang patawanan bitaw katawanan siya nga way. So next is allusion. So allusion means referring to something people already known, like a famous phrase, ad, cultural moment. So we use it all the time in everyday talk, especially with the people who share our backgrounds or interests. So it helps us to make a point without saying everything directly, like a shortcut meaning. So when we say allusion, it's implied or indirect references, no, especially in literature. So a poem that makes allusion to to classical literature. And aside from that is the use references, no, pwede nila makuha sa movies and then sa mga television, sa social media, yun na. to create a joke. So, yan na siya, ang allusion. So next is sometimes allusions are moved obviously like quoting a well-known line. So pwede nato siya makuha. We use allusion to kanang quoting kanang well-known line bitaw or famous nga line. Pwede siya makuha sa movies, especially sa movies kay daghan kayo mga trending karon nga kanang mga well-known line sa movies. This gives the speaker a kind of control or cleverness in the conversation. So it depends on the speaker on how they kanang they used bitaw ang allusion. So they can come from to politics, ads, news, legal, or official talk. So we have the example here at British advertisement of a product. So Moraiments too good to hermits. So muna siyang example na sa kuan sa British advertisement about na siya sa kano makaon. And then next is parody. So parody often starts with an allusion. So parody means copying someone's style in a funny or exaggerated way. So parody is like making fun of something, making like making fun of something by copying it in a silly way. So Sir Robert Graves compares parody to a witch who secretly follows someone's and copies their work so well that she can make them trip. So this shows how parody studies its target closely to make fun of it. But parody isn't always mean, but sometimes it's done with love and respect, like a tribute. So sometimes it's just a joke or even a way to honor someone. Muna siya ang parody. So next is we have the parody distinctive poetic idiom by Gerard Manley Hopkins. A waiter, are there any? Where are? Tell me come. Napkins, lovely. All of a start staring. Linen, preferably, or a proper seeming paper. Waiter, wearing my gay girl good suit. Ah, my dear, damn sweet. Dump? Well, this train's dripping and truckling as I sipped. Soap. Did a god the hat of it? Yes, flipped into my lap, slapping of these clear consomme. Some spoons flung splashes for bosoms bearing. Bring me a cool lammy, hair dry with a kerchief tea towel, toilet roll. Oh dear, my dean a doily, but merely a moved with a mercy man. Make! Oh, what a slanting that Shirley! What's with the canting curve of the? What with the lilt of the large? Her leaping upward, all in a skirl, the dear drenching. There was a flash to abash one quaintly, there was a squinching, since when, on set's edge, sudden I pensive verge, picking at lunch and lovely, unappetizing nearly. So next is the parody of Hopkins has have key features in the parody. So first is sprung rhythm. So let me see. So sprung rhythm, Hopkins invented a system called sprung rhythm, where each foot begins with a stressed syllable and the number of unstressed syllables that follow can vary. So sprung rhythm is a poetic system invented by Hopkins. So Hopkins. So where each foot, when we say foot, is a unit of rhythm. It starts with a stressed syllable and the number of unstressed syllables follows. So for example, napkins, lovely, all of a start staring. Napkins, lovely, all of a start staring. So this line feels jumbled and rhythmic with stressed syllables nap, love, starch, staring. It's driving the beat. So next. alliteration and assonance. So when we say alliteration is the repetition of consonant. For example, the line soap, did, I got, the head of it, yes, slipped, flip. So the repeated S, D, P sounds mirrors Hopkins' use of sonic textures. When we say sonic texture it describes the way different sounds like musical instrument or voices. So assonance. So we have assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. So loudly, all of a start staring. So repeated long A sounds. Next is internal rhyme and rover over rhyme. So rhymes place within a line and not just an end. Okay, not just at the end. This means that words rhyme inside the same line of a poetry, not just at the end of the different lines. So example example is hair, dab here, dry with a kerchief, tea, towel, toilet roll. So in the line dab hair dry with a kerchief, tea towel, toilet roll, there isn't a clear example of internal rhyme within a single within a single line. So next, unusual syntax and word order. So like Hopkins, the parody uses inversions. So so when we say inversion is inverting words, no, inverting words or what? Putting them in an unexpected order. And using ellipsis is omitting words, and we have interjections is like sudden words or phrases that interrupt sentence. So example, ah, my dear, dim was it, dump, a mood, with a mercy man make. So the example is shows that shows that how sentences are not normal, no? Instead, they're like Hopkins' descriptive grammar. So when we say descriptive grammar is the grammar has been interrupted or broken. Next is the lexical innovation. So when we say lexical innovation is coinage and compound adjectives. So Hopkins often combine words to create compound adjectives or the words that describe nouns. So we have the gay girl, good suit, pauper, seeming piper, all in a girl. So the example is like the example is a made up words or an unusual combination which is it's characterized of by Hopkins styles. So next is the kinetic and violent imagery. So this parody reflects Hopkins' obsession with movement, energy, and drama. So we have the line example in the poetic idiom by Hopkins. Hurled, leaping, lapward, all in a skirl, the deer drenching, the lilt of the larch. So words like hurl, leap, skirl, splash are vivid, physically and slightly chaotic. That is the classic of Hopkins noon. They create kanang vivid image of something moving with force and energy. So next is okay, that's all for today everyone. Thank you for listening.